WWE SmackDown Live comes waltzing back into our lives tonight, November 28, 2017 from the Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky, featuring all the latest build to the upcoming Clash of Champions pay-per-view PPV scheduled for next month in Boston. Advertised for tonight: Randy Orton vs. Kevin Owens, AJ Styles vs. the Singh Brothers, the return of Fashion Files, and more come right back here at 8 p.m. ET when the SmackDown Live blog kicks off once the show starts on USA. It will be below this line here. Reminder: no gifs or pics are allowed in the comments section. Offenders will be banned. WWE SmackDown results and live blog for November 28. What do you mean, I don't believe in God? I talk to him every day. What do you mean, I don't support your system? I go to court when I have to. What do you mean, I can't get to work on time? I'm right here to live blog this here pro wrestling show for you, aren't I? The show opens with a recap of Shane McMahon's promo from last week and all the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn related fallout from that. Live in the arena, Shane McMahon makes his entrance. He says Lexington, Kentucky bleeds blue, but he knows two superstars who don't. Last week he was in the process of firing Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn because they've openly said they have no respect for anyone on SmackDown, in the office, or in the crowds. So, he was looking forward to firing them, and then Daniel Bryan had an idea. On paper, putting them in a lumberjack match was an amazing idea, because they'd take their beating and then Bryan would fire them both, but that didn't happen. He and Dan have had numerous conversations, and he wants you to hear Bryan's side from his own mouth, and he bids him come to the ring. Bryan says as a guy who's been fired a few times, he believes in second chances. Admittedly, they're jealously lead Owens and Zayn to make a terrible decision by interfering at Survivor Series, but Shane's own temperament gets the best of him often enough and he makes mistakes all the time. McMahon says he agrees in this specific case but wants to remind Bryan that Cole beat his father on Mercy in this very ring. Sami Zayn got involved in his match at Hell in a Cell, and those two betrayed the entire SmackDown roster. Check, double check, and triple check. Dan pleads for an understanding that they did those things in the name of grabbing for the brass ring, and he sees real talent in both men, and if they fire them, they'll just end up on Monday Night Raw. Shane is fine with that, and Bryan says he took this job with the understanding that he wouldn't be asked to just be a yes man, and if you want somebody that'll do that, he's not your man. But if you want somebody that can recognize talent and use them to the best of their ability, he's the guy, and he needs to be trusted such that when Shane leaves, he's allowed to make the decisions. McMahon says he made the decisions and he does applaud Bryan for making the match between Owens and Orton, but he's gonna add to that idea, and Sami Zayn is barred from ringside. Furthermore, the match itself will be no disqualification. Commentary hypes up our women's trios match and AJ Styles' handicap match against the Singh Brothers, and we cut backstage to New Day walking backstage eating a tray of pancakes. Toss to Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable walking backstage skeptically examining a box of Bootios, and we go to break. Back from commercial, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are walking backstage grumbling when they roll up on Bryan. Sami says he can't possibly agree with Shane's decision to bar him from ringside and now he's gonna get Owens injured. Kev calls Randy dangerous and Zayn says Dan needs to sort this out. Bryan asks who he is to make demands of him, and says they're not the only ones trying to keep their jobs around here, and the answer is no. Actually, hell no. Big E does the deal and New Day make their entrance, raining pancakes on the front row as we see that the Usos have joined the commentary team. Chad Gable Shelton Benjamin vs. New Day Kofi Kingston Xavier Woods Gable with a headlock on Woods to start, off the ropes, ducking backfists, Xavier slides under and nails a lariat tag to Kofi, chaining attacks together and culminating with a splash for a near fall before the quick tag back to Woods. Arm wringer, off the ropes, Chad with a kick to the arm, tag to Benjamin and he comes in kicking Xavier's face in with a roundhouse that sends us to break. Back from commercial, Woods escapes from Shelton with a jawbreaker, multiple thrusts to his midsection, but Benjamin gets a hold of his head and knees him in the face a few times. Back suplex lift, Gable legal and he finishes the suplex with a diving knee for a near fall hard whip to the corner, the Olympian putting boots to him now, setting him up top thinking about a belly-to-belly superplex, but Xavier fights out with fists and headbutts. Perched up top, missile dropkick connects, and the path is clear. Tags made Kingston in with a springboard lariat and double chops, big dropkick, off the ropes, dodged. Benjamin whips him into the corner only to get caught by a Gammon Jiri. Near fall off a diving crossbody, Shelton with a monkey flip but Kofi lands on his feet and follows it up with a leaping lariat boom drop, thinking about trouble in paradise but Benjamin counters by hossing him up and trying to dump him outside. Kingston manages to turn it around to dump both of them. Kofi dumps Gable, and Xavier throws a huge dive. Shelton turns around into a Kingston superkick. Tag made. New Day win by pinfall with up down down on Shelton Benjamin. We get a recap of Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, and Liv Morgan making their debuts in explosive fashion last week. In the locker room, Charlotte Flair is hanging out when Naomi rolls up to ask if she's ready for payback. Flair is ready, and says they're not gonna feel so clever after tonight. Naomi says last week it took a 3-0 ambush to take her down, but they can't stop the glow, especially when she's shoulder to shoulder with the Queen. Natalya rolls up with cat ears on and says Charlotte is lucky she got to hold on to her title for another week. Flair tells her off and Natty tries to play it like she was joking and says tonight they're gonna remind the NXT women that they're at the bottom of the food chain. Charlotte says after tonight no one will remember their names. We get a Bludgeon Brothers vignette to send us to break on the promise that they'll be on the show next. Back from commercial in time for entrances. Bludgeon Brothers Harper Rowan vs. Hype Brothers Mojo Rawley. Zack Ryder. Harper and Ryder to start, collar and elbow, and Luke throws him aside. Zack gets boots up and starts throwing, but Harper wipes him out and tags Rowan and, slapping him across the face before clearing the apron and body avalanching him. Track stop from Harper, they hoist him up. Bludgeon Brothers win by pinfall with the double crucifix powerbomb on Zack Ryder. Hype Brothers are interviewed and Ryder says it was a year ago since they were a top tag team and they need to change. The only way Mojo attacks him from behind, he kicks his partner while he's down and screams about how the Hype Brothers are dead. Grounded punches as the beating continues and he slams Zack's head into the mat. Referee Charles Robinson tries to back him off but Rawley won't stop. Referee Dan Engler comes to the ring and they pull him off, but not until he gets another round of beatdown in. Commentary hypes up Orton, Owens and Stylesings to send us to break. Back from commercial, Mojo Rawley is walking backstage when an interview rolls up to ask why he attacked Zack Ryder. He says it's like Zack said, the landscape has changed. Commentary uses this to transition to a recap of last week's main event. Backstage, Bobby Roode is interviewed about Baron Corbin, and he says deep down Baron knows there's somebody out there who's smarter, better, and going to take the United States Championship away. So what does Corbin do? He gets scared, holds the title tight, and lashes out at anyone he perceives as a threat. Just so happens that the threat is absolutely. Corbin rolls up to say if Bobby thinks he's scared, he's delirious. That's a different guy, Baron. Bobby says if he's not scared, prove it by putting the title on the line. And the Lone Wolf is not interested. The Singh Brothers come out and give Jinder Mahal a big introduction ahead of their handicap match. AJ Styles makes his entrance and Jinder attacks him from behind, putting boots to him as referee Dan Engler tries to regain control of the situation, but Mahal and the boys keep the beating running. Styles goes hard into the post and to the floor, and we go to break with the match and out. Back from commercial and AJ Styles is ready to fight. AJ Styles vs. Singh Brothers. Samir Sunil Singh handicap match. Double leg pickup on one Singh as the other gets on his back. They put him in the corner and beat on him before putting boots to him on the mat, choking him over the ropes and turns. AJ gets a lick or two in, but they stay on him. Double suplex. Repeated covers come up empty and they resume putting boots to Styles. Drawing him up, kicks and punches into the corner give way to shoulder thrusts. Back in the middle of the ring, camel clutch applied, but AJ is able to fight out and throw hands until his rally is cut off with a chop block. They set Styles up top and climb to meet him, but AJ is able to fight them off with forearms and kicks. One for Jinder when he tries to get into it, but it gives the Singhs enough time to recover and come back. One of them climbs up again thinking Frankensteiner. AJ blocks avalanche. Styles clash puts one brother on the other. It's over. AJ Styles wins by pinfall with a lateral press. Mahal attacks, but AJ is a step ahead and manages to get out of the ring and leave him fuming after the phenomenal one takes his leave. Jinder hits Callas on one of the Singhs. He waits for the other to wake up a little and hits it on him as well. Commentary hypes up Owens Orton some more and we go backstage for an interview with Riott, Logan, and Morgan. Ruby reminds anyone who may have forgot of their names, and say they go by the Riott Squad. Liv says the Queen might be a bit foggy on that, and Ruby says Becky Lynch is probably still in traction in Houston, and they're here to turn the women's division upside down. Liv Morgan is a firecracker, about to go off at any moment, and Sarah Logan is the grittiest Southern belle she's ever met. Sarah says she came from a family of hunters and they're bagging 3 big game trophies tonight. Rhea says Charlotte, Natalya and Naomi better be ready, because they're going to experience a riot. And so we go to break. Back from commercial we get a WWE shop ad featuring New Day that kicks off with Big E wearing a bunch of Sasha Banks gear and singing her theme to himself. Charlotte Flair, Naomi, Natalya vs. The Riot Squad. Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, Natalya and Riott to start. Ruby with a kick to the gut and hammer blows to the back before coming off the ropes for a kick. Nelson and a tag to Logan, forcing Natty in the corner, shoved back, falling STO, but Neidhart backs off and gets a tag to Flair. Natty walks out saying she doesn't want anything to do with them and we got a handicap match. Morgan legal whip reversed, up and over, but Charlotte doesn't fall for it and throws chops and a facebreaker to send us to break. Back from commercial and Flair is running hot against Riott, passing her to the outside and clearing the apron shove into the barricade. She tosses Ruby back inside but Sarah and Liv run interference and knock the Queen down. Tag to Morgan, she smashes Charlotte's face into the apron and rolls her back inside for a near fall. Straight suplex, rolling through into a body scissors pin for 2, tag back to Riott. Snapmare to a reverse chin lock, Flair counters with a stunner but Ruby cuts her off from the tag and puts a beating on her. Logan takes Naomi's knee out on the apron and they brawl in the entryway until Liv comes over to join in and they put the former champion into the barricade. Not content to leave it there, they move the bottom steel step and set it upright. They pick Naomi up and ram her head first into the steps. They lean the steps against the barricade over her. Logan catapults Naomi into the steel. Referee Jason Ayers calls for help and a medic comes over as the focus returns to the ring where Riott is in firm control and tags Sarah in. Boots to Flair, a headbutt to the collarbone into a single-arm straitjacket and then a mat slam. Tag to Ruby. Charlotte starts to rally, STO backbreaker into a turnbuckle reverse STO on Riott, spear on Morgan, trying for natural selection, but Ruby stops her short and whips her into a knee from Logan. Wrist lock applied. The Riott Squad win by pinfall with a wrist lock Gamangiri from Ruby Riott on Charlotte Flair. Medics load Naomi onto a stretcher as the Riott Squad have their hands raised in victory. Randy Orton blows past an interview and sends us to break. Back from commercial, commentary talks up the new season of Total Divas. On we go to the new Fashion Files, where Breezango are chained up in a dingy bathroom somewhere opposite the Ascension. Connor says they'll get out of there. It's a normal Saturday for them, when they notice a tablet on the wall saying they've been making a mockery of the tag team division, and to escape the room they need to destroy what they love most, and they have a minute before poisonous gas fills the room. They freak out and Fandango motions Tyler to cut him open when the Ascension notice Tully, the stick horse's head, and tear it apart to find the key. Breezango unlock themselves and Ascension offer to sacrifice themselves for their best friends. Breezango run off but Dango comes back for his hat, getting the Wastelanders' hopes up before toxic gas fills the room and we get a to be continued screen. Kevin Owens makes his entrance. His match against Randy Orton will begin after the break. Back from commercial in time for Randy Orton's entrance. Kevin Owens vs. Randy Orton. No disqualification match. Orton with punches out the gate, ducks a return shot and nearly gets the RKO. Owens bails and Randy follows after him, putting him elbow first into the steel steps and then face first into the apron before throwing him over the announce table for more punches. Uppercuts against the barricade, smashing his face into the bare surface of the announce table. The Viper heads under the ring for a kendo stick and waffles go across the back and in the gut, eventually breaking his kendo stick and having to get another more shots on shots. Owens basically unable to respond. Back suplex on the apron. Kev manages to get himself back in the ring and rolls outside on the far side. A kendo stick of his own stuns Orton and he runs Randy's head into the ring post and starts to rally, hoisting the Viper up. Fallaway slam into the barricade. Co clutches his elbow and yells to send us to break. Back from commercial and Owens is in control, beating the holy hell out of Orton with the kendo stick in the middle of the ring. Boot to the face, just clawing at the Viper on the mat, but Orton gets a thumb to the eye off for a bit of breathing room. Co gets a few shots back and near fall off the senton and Owens locks him down with the reverse chin lock. Randy breaks free but Kev hits a few more kendo stick shots and gets a near fall. Owens ducks a big shot, kick to the gut, uppercut. Co comes back with a DDT for 2. Orton sidesteps the cannonball follow-up and sets Owens up top. Trading right hands as they jockey for position, headbutts ensue and Randy pulls ahead, climbing to join him. SUPERPLEX delayed cover. No good on a charge. Owens gets an elbow up but he runs right into the snap power slam for a near fall looking for the rope hung DDT. Co slips out but Randy's able to snap him over the ropes and take him back outside for more uppercuts against the barricade and the back suplex into it. Back suplex into the announce desk follows as evil intentions play across the Viper's face. Inside the ring once more he goes to that special place. And Kevin bails outside and leaps the barricade to make a break for it through the crowd. Orton follows after him, smashes him into a road case and brawls him to the stage. Owens rolls away but Randy stays on him, clubbing away. And Sami Zayn clips his knee from behind with a chair. Sami waffles it across his back and hips a few times before making a break for it through the entry. Co gets up and rolls the Viper back in the ring but Orton has life left in him and hits the rope hung DDT. He's slow to capitalize but he pounds the mat and goes for the RKO. Owens blocks and takes his knee out. Superkick connects and Owens heads up top. Kevin Owens wins by pinfall with a frog splash. Co jaws at Orton and the camera about how great he is and has his hand raised. That's the show, folks.